Okay, my friends, here it is. The video that is going to show you exactly how to make this super delicious, buttery, soft, flavorful, yet nutrient-rich superfood from the garden, and that is the stewed collard greens. Now, if you are thinking, oh, I don't really like greens, that's because you've never had it this way. So, as we approach the fall garden and the fall harvest of collard greens, as the cold weather comes, the plant will become sweeter because it will it will convert some of its starches into sugars because sugar water freezes at a lower temperature than regular water. And so the plant will become sweeter. And as this is happening, we are going to make batches so that we can freeze it and have it all winter long. So let us get right into it, my friends. Okay, my friends, first step is we got to gather the aromatics, and that is to say the herbs. So here we are with some of the garden sage. Fresh sage is best. You can use dried for this, but we want to use as many fresh herbs as possible. They're going to give it that depth of flavor that we are looking for. Next is going to be the rosemary, and for the rosemary, we don't need much. It's easy to overdo rosemary, so just one sprig of the fresh rosemary is going to add that lively citrus flavor that we desire. Next is we're going to choose some peppers. Now you can omit these, but I love, it doesn't actually make it spicy. It just gives it a depth of flavor, a body to it. So we're going to add one. I actually ended up coming back and getting a second green pepper. Those were Tabasco peppers. So now here we are at the thyme bush, and I have several different varieties of thyme. So we're just gonna go ahead and cut it off right into the basket, and we're gonna use the second variety of thyme because each one adds its own sort of influence to the dish. And this is very important because we're essentially making a stock, and this is where all the flavor's gonna be, guys. So next, we're going to go over by the cabbages and all the other stuff and get some of the celery. Now, it's easy to overdo celery, guys, so just a few sprigs. The homegrown celery is very pungent. Next, we're going to go over by the shijimisa and the cabbage and the fennel, and we're going to get some of this here parsley. And we're just going to twist it and shred. We don't pull the plant, we just use our thumbnail to break it off. Now, we're going to go inside and we're going to get some of that stored garlic, guys. And here is what you do when you're storing garlic. You go through, every time you use it, you just have a squeeze around and you find any of them that are even remotely the slightest bit soft. Those are the ones you use right now. And that is how you keep your supply nice and fresh all winter long, my friends. Next thing we're going to do is have the same sort of procedure on the onions. So just give a few of them a feel, and if even the remote slightness, softness, use that one. So we're going to use this big fat boy today. Next step is we're going to take a big sauce pot full of water and get it on the high. We're going to put it so that it's boiling. And while that is boiling, we are going to put in the herbs. And the herbs, guys, this is so important. You want to use as many of the fresh, savory type herbs as you can because this is what gives it the depth. And so we're going to put it all in there. And then we're going to put some peppercorns in there. And we don't even have to crack them or anything because they will be in there plenty long time. Then we go to the pantry and get some of the bay leaves. And you won't believe how good this dish is, my friends. So we're going to add about 4 or 5 of the bay leaves in there. And next, we're going to just cut the bottom off of the garlic and then give it a little roughage with our hands to get some of the skins off. But you don't actually have to peel it, okay? So just throw it all in there. It's all good. Then the next thing we're going to do is carefully chop up some of these dynamite peppers. You can use poblano or jalapeno. These are Tabasco peppers, whatever you got. But here's the secret ingredient, my friends, the smoked turkey leg. This has been dry smoked or cold smoked for about 17 to 24 hours. And so we're going to put that in there, and that is where the flavor is going to come from, my friends. You will see what I mean here shortly. So we're going to bring it all up to a rolling boil like this while it's on high. Once it gets to the rolling boil, we're going to turn it down to medium low and set the timer for 2 hours. Yes, it's an all day event when you're making this good stuff, guys. Now, this is not optional in my opinion. The lard. These are some slabs of pastured pork that my friend has a couple of hogs, and so I got some lard. We're also going to put in some apple cider vinegar. This is going to give it that depth of flavor that we desire. So here we are 2 hours later, guys, and this turkey leg is pulling off the bone, so now we know it's ready. We're going to go ahead and set that aside so that it can cool down, and what we're left with is this nice, delicious stock. Now, while the stock and the turkey leg is all cooling, we're going to draw up hot water with about a cup of the distilled white vinegar. And then we're going to go out and get us some of the collard greens. This one I already took from last week when I made a batch. But you can see, oh boy, look at them poblanos. They are getting ready to harvest. Yes. Now, this is the Vates collards, guys. I'm really liking the Vates, okay? I grow both Georgia and the Vates, but the Vates, I like their meatiness and the growing pattern of the plant. And so we're gonna cut off of the base of the plant, and then it's gonna put new growth from the top. You see here, last week, we cut off the base of the plant and we made a batch, we froze it, and then now it's putting out new growth up top. And it is gonna be doing this pretty much the rest of the fall. So you can make a batch, freeze it, make a batch, freeze it. Oh, look at them poblanos, guys. I can't wait to smoke those and dehydrate them. So here we are back inside with the collard greens. And here is the technique, my friends. Watch carefully. You de-rib them, and so you're going to turn it on its back like that and gently pull it and let it tell you when enough is enough, and it will break off. And this rib here we're going to use that for vegetable stock, and we're going to actually use the rest of the leaf. But that big part is going to be not very good, but the small ribs that are left is going to be totally edible. Okay, so we're not throwing the big ribs away. We're going to use that for stock. But now we want to give it a good Viking scrub, vigorously washing it about in the vinegar water. And this is going to make sure that any of the critters are off. Now, while those are soaking, we are going to take some of this delicious turkey leg and we are going to pull it off the bone. And we're just going to use our hands because we want to make sure all we got is those nice, delicious chunks of that smoked turkey meat. And when you're pulling apart the turkey leg, you got to be certain that you get them tendons out of there, you see? So we got the meat right here, and then we got all them tendons out of there, because if you get one of them tendons, that is not pleasurable to eat. So now we are going to strain out the collard greens, and we are going to also strain out the stock. This is the important step, guys. You don't want to eat all those stems and stalks and all that other stuff. You want to strain it out, and what we are left with is gold. Next step is to peel a head or 2 or 3 heads of garlic, whatever you want, however much you like. And then the next step is to finally chop up one of these here onions from the basement. And my eyes are watering. These things are full of those sulfuric compounds. And we want to rough chop the garlic. We don't want to mince it or anything like that. We want it to be rough chopped because we want the flavors to be inconsistent, actually, so that we get a nice chunk of this or of that. So here's the current state of affairs, my friends. We got the collards, we got the broth, we got the deboned turkey, we got the alliums, the garlic and onions chopped up. So now we want to take a big old slab of that pastured, organic, grass-fed butter, and we're going to saute the garlic and onions in there just for a while, just so that they can get a nice heat bath in there and so that they can infuse their flavors into the butter. That is what is important. Next step is, here's how I like to do the collards. You got to be a little rough with them, guys. Just fold them up like that and cut them, rough chop them. I don't finely mince them or anything. We're just going to rough chop them and we're going to put them right in there. We're going to do it in batches until all of the collard greens are in there. And then we're going to put all of the stock back in there. That's right. And we make sure everything is nice and in the bath of the stock. And so we're going to stew it for about an additional 2 hours, guys. So here we are 1 hour into the stewing, and we're going to add the salt now. And this might seem like a lot of salt, but it's not. We're using that good quality sea salt. And at the same time that we add the salt, we're going to add the smoked turkey leg with that skin. Yes, you want that flavor in there, guys. And then we're going to let it stew for an additional hour until the whole thing looks like this. Keep testing it, and if it's rough, then keep cooking it. By the time they're done like this, they should be soft and buttery and melt in your mouth, and they should just taste like the smoked turkey and the butter and all the good stuff. Eat it with the cornbread. Guys, this stuff is super delicious. You will have dreams about it. If you make it right, it is so soft and buttery, I can't even begin to describe. Not only delicious taste, but so nourishing. Do not let that broth go to waste, my friends. It is a superfood. So there you go, my friends. Give the video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments how you like to prepare your collard greens, and let me know where you're at and what you've got growing in your fall garden so that other people can learn from the comments. And I will see you right here every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern time. We do a live Q&A. And I would direct you to this playlist here if you would like to learn more about how to cook the bounty from the garden.